All right, welcome everybody to the Sports Guyz NFL Recap, December 9th. This is the episode we're going to talk about some of the individual teams that are getting knocked out of playoff contention. There's quite a few of them, and a lot of them we predicted before the season were going to be real contenders. So it's really kind of a strange situation. How you doing, Robbie?
Doing great. Doing really well. Enjoyed a lot of good football this week and been busy as ever.
A lot of fun. We just took on the college football playoff episode, which we just released 2 days ago, and we showed the final bracket. So that was a lot of fun. And now we got to talk about NFL playoffs because it's only really 4 weeks left, and we have a lot of teams that are in serious trouble that we thought were contenders. So what's your take on that this year? Why do you think there's so many teams? It's not just injuries. There's other things that are going on.
There's a reshuffling of the deck. There's been such a reliance on quarterback play that I think some teams got a little bit lazy, and that they kind of count on quarterbacks like Mahomes to always bail them out, and instead of working on the fundamentals of running the football really hard and playing defense and going back to the drawing board and playing fundamental football instead of winging it all over the yard and running for your life. I mean, all the quarterbacks that departed from the pocket passer, who were almost run first, are not doing well. And we're sliding back more towards the guys that will stay in the pocket are doing better again.
Kind of,
Like
but
Dak. Like Dak is, the Cowboys are the number one offense in the league. I wouldn't have guessed that at the beginning of the season.
no, but what made Jalen Hurts so brutal the last 2 years, and the reason they won the Super Bowl is because he could run. He was a huge threat on the ground, and he's not this year. He's not running the ball at all this year, and he's not really a passer. So you've taken away like half of his
No,
game.
I know.
Makes him so
But it's the quarterbacks who are really good passers are doing well, and the
true.
ones who rely a lot on running are not doing that great. I
But you
mean,
have to be able to do both because the statues get hurt really easily in this league right now. The pass
and
rushers
also
are so good.
the teams that feel like they have this incredible quarterback, they're going to pay him 50-60 million dollars a year. Almost all of them are not headed for the playoffs, except for
100%.
no, there is no exception. Like
We predicted
it's
this
pretty
2
much
years ago that these teams paying 50 million plus for their quarterback were going to strip down their rosters to the point
yeah,
where once they had injuries, they didn't have any depth. That's happening
yeah.
to the Detroit Lions right now.
So
It's
think
happening to
about
a
the
lot
good
of teams.
quarterbacks not going to the playoffs. You've got Lamar,
Joe
um,
Burrow.
Burrow, Mahomes,
Hmm.
basically all the best ones.
Yeah.
Um, Allen's probably going, but it's
Hmm.
going to be on the road.
Hmm.
Um, doesn't look like Dak's going. All your 50 plus million dollar quarterbacks, they're going to be sitting home.
Whereas Drake May this year is making 5 million, so he's on a
Right,
rookie deal, so it's
right.
perfect. The year that Russell Wilson won his Super Bowl, and the year after when he went back to the Super Bowl, he was on a rookie contract.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the
And you
model.
know what? You got the Panthers who have been in the doldrums for the last several seasons, still with a rookie quarterback contract.
Hmm.
They might make the playoffs,
They might.
and they're ascending. They're getting better. So
Hmm.
there are a number of teams like that. So anyway, at the end of the day, there's a reshuffling of the deck. All the teams that thought I've got Patrick Mahomes or I've got Josh Allen or I've got Joe Burrow, so I don't have to worry too much because they'll bail me out when I'm down by 14
Hmm.
points in the fourth quarter. Those teams are losing.
I mean, the Chiefs last year were 11-0 in one-score games. This year, they're 2-6 in one-score games. So,
Right.
and it's not like Andy Reid and Spags forgot how to coach. That has nothing to do with it.
No.
It really is a roster-heavy league in the
Yeah.
trenches. The game's won in the trenches,
Hmm.
and the Chiefs are not getting a pass rush they did usually. They're not stopping the run well. Their DBs have not been nearly as effective as they've been in the past, and they can't run the ball very well. They're just not the same team.
The Eagles aren't the same team since they paid Jalen Hurts.
Right.
I
That's right.
mean, they were for 1 year, and then now it's falling apart.
But
So,
he's not the same quarterback. I mean, he's not a dual threat.
right, right.
And he's leaning on the side of the quarterback sheet that he's not very good at. So,
Yeah. I will say there's a whole lot of what I'm excited about is there's a whole lot of good debate topics
mhm,
in college football right now and pro. And so
mhm,
there's just a whole lot to talk about. There's a whole lot to cover. There's teams that aren't going to make the playoffs, and there's strange behaviors. There's ascending rookies and people who are working their way through tough,
mhm.
sophomore slumps, and
I
there's
will
a lot of
say,
storylines.
there are very few teams in the NFL now that don't have a good quarterback. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL
Yeah,
right now, and some of
yeah.
them are on good teams. Some of them are on average, okay teams that have gotten older and worse, and some of them are on really bad teams. And you just have like maybe 4 or 5 teams at the bottom that don't have a quarterback. Very few.
COVID stacked them up really nicely for us and kept everyone in school. And then they all came out over the course of 3 years. And every team, most teams got one.
Mhm,
Most teams have one now. And there's a tremendous number of quarterbacks that are under rookie contracts or under not max deals.
mhm.
And that's because teams know that that's the only way to survive.
You look at it this year, there's 6 teams that have an offense and a defense ranked both in the top 10. There's 6 teams like
Hmm.
that. Those are the contenders. The teams that don't have a good defense or don't have a good offense, to me,
Yeah,
they're not contenders. I mean, the
right.
Eagles have very good defense. They just have a terrible offense.
Yeah, their
And
offense has really lost it.
the Ravens have a pretty decent offense and not a very good defense this year. So
Hmm.
Cowboys have the
Cowboys,
30th defense in the league. So
number one offense, 30th
number one
defense.
offense. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
they're not
Commanders
gonna,
last year went to the NFC Championship game, and this year they have neither. So it's
well, they have tight ends getting their knee bent backwards and
well,
quarterbacks that keep getting hurt over and over. And
their
so
defense is trash this year, though. They
injuries
really.
terrible. And yeah, their defense doesn't play well together. They have some old veterans out there that just aren't meshing.
And by the way, Seattle is one of those 6 teams. They have a very good defense and a very good offense. So, yeah, right behind you. So,
Hmm.
to me, when we do the bracket in a couple weeks and we pick all the way through, I'm going to choose the teams that have both an offense and a defense. Those are the ones that can win in December
The
and January.
Rams,
The
the
Rams,
Rams.
best team in football.
The two teams that came up this year and got better dramatically were the Rams and the Seahawks, I think.
Mhm. Me too.
Those are the two that could genuinely go win it all if things aligned for them.
And imagine if the 49ers still had Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. They
Yeah,
lost both of them midseason, but I mean
true.
they're still 9-4 without those two
Yeah.
guys.
They're playing well and they're missing those two stars. So
Well, Robbie, let's go take a look at the scores, man. What do you think?
take a look. Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a moment just to recognize our sponsor for tonight. That's Jersey Mike's. They've been a longtime sponsor of ours. We love Jersey Mike's. Matter of fact, I went there today and got my number 13, which is the giant original Italian, and I saved half for tomorrow. What do you think of Jersey Mike's, Robbie?
Love Jersey Mike's. Family loves Jersey Mike's. It's such an easy call. They have incredible food. They have a good value and they're always friendly. I am known by my friends for going there a couple times a week in a regular week, and it's a lot easier than cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So really happy they're a sponsor and because it's something that we eat all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's so fresh. The people are so nice. The ingredients are always, chosen that day, and they don't have anything frozen. And it's just you can't get a better meal.
And honestly, I always talk about how I get the number 17. But the cool part about that is it's really consistent. It's always good. It's always well done. It's always tastes the same. It's really, really good. So that's something special.
I always got the 13 until you started introducing me to the 17, and now I go back and forth. Those are both so good, but all the sandwiches are great. I mean, people like the buffalo chicken, and There's a lot of great choices. So, guys, go to jerseymikes.com or go to their app or get Uber Eats or one of the delivery services to deliver you a sub tonight. And tell us what you think. Drop us a comment. What do you think of your Jersey Mike's experience? And have a good one.
It's a sub above.
Sub above. All right, so this week we're calling the episode Playoff Knockouts. We had a lot of teams either get knocked out or are pretty close to getting knocked out. I think the biggest picture that signifies that is the one there on the top left. That's the Chiefs, and you see Mahomes and Kelsey both getting absolutely decimated by Texan defenders on the last play of the game. And it just kind of really signifies their whole season as they've gone 6-6 and essentially have a desperate situation on their hands. And now, after this game, went to 6-7, and so essentially are now knocked out of the playoff. So, what are your thoughts about that game? And I thought it was wholly predictable. I think the Texans are a better team right now.
The Texans defense is the best defense in football.
I think so too.
The
I
second
can't
best
believe it.
defense is the Broncos. But
Yeah.
the Texans defense is so savage that they've just been building it over several drafts. People have been looking the other way, not taking them seriously, and it's given their offense quite a shot in the arm. The offense isn't great, but it doesn't
Right.
have to be.
These teams
The
that have these
defense is
incredible,
going to get multiple takeaways, lots of pressures. They're going to punish the other team, and they're just athletic, and they're going to make plays in the back end. They're going to do it all.
these teams that have these incredible defenses, these great offenses of the past that have been going to the Super Bowl, they can't handle it. Like their offensive
No,
line
yeah,
cannot block them.
that's right.
So, there's another picture there just to the right is Lamar Jackson with another disappointing performance, another disappointing loss. Um, they just don't look the same, even on offense. I mean, they look kind of ineffective. He can't hit his receivers. He's throwing it to Andrews on every other play. They're not getting Derrick Henry the ball enough, in my opinion. Their defense is total trash. And I don't know what happened to the Ravens this year, but they essentially also got knocked out of the playoffs this past weekend. What's your take on them?
It's difficult to say. I think Lamar's been overrated for a number of years now, in my opinion. I've always thought of him as a good quarterback, but not great. I've seen him light it up. When he gets hot, he's real dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can get pressure on him and rattle him a little bit, he doesn't settle back down. He just kind of falls apart. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the Ravens have not been building correctly. I don't think they've put a bunch of talent around him. And so they're not using their running game well. They're not executing and they're playing badly. And it's getting to Lamar's, psyche. So I
Mm-hmm.
just think that it's all going wrong this year. There's all this pressure, Super Bowl or bust last couple of years, and he hasn't been up for that. He hasn't been up for
Mm-hmm.
the challenge.
That's true.
It's not all his fault. I mean, I think
You
his
know,
his supporting cast is weak.
I saw a really good take last night on FS1, and I agree with it. They were talking about Mahomes and Lamar and Jalen Hurts and a couple of these guys that were used to being able to kind of roll out of the pocket, buy time, extend the play, throw on the run, those kind of things. They said that the defensive coordinators in the NFL, especially with good defenses, they've gotten so good now, and they do so much film study. They literally know
Yeah.
every aspect of your game. They know every play, and they know exactly what you're going to do. And they've kind of figured a lot of these guys out. And so what's
Yeah, they know
happening?
their tendencies.
They do. And so it's you watch these guys, they can't get it to the receivers. I mean, Lamar cannot get it to his receivers. And it's just they figured him out. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of teams are really good now at getting pressure with four guys, sometimes five, with
Mhm.
twists and um, there's a
And they bring a
few
safety blitz occasionally, or they bring a corner blitz
sometimes
occasionally.
just to mix it up, but
Yeah,
there's a lot of really good defensive players in the NFL right now
yeah. And coordinators.
and
So yeah,
coordinators. Yeah, the coordinators keep getting bypassed for head coaching jobs, so they're becoming very, very good coordinators,
that's right.
and they're becoming like experts. Because they'll stay 5, 6, 7 years in defense coordinator position, and their offensive coordinators keep getting bounced up to being head coaches because nobody wants a defensive low scoring team that's not exciting and not going anywhere in the Super
That's
Bowl
right.
or
That's right.
playoffs. So you want a McVay, you want these guys, and everyone wants that next offense coordinator as the head coach. And these guys, you know, turn the defense over to guys that could probably also be head coaches.
That's true. So another team that's in serious trouble is the Indianapolis Colts. That's Daniel Jones. He actually got hurt this past weekend. He
Yeah.
is out for the season. He actually got two different injuries on the same play, which is incredibly. He tore his Achilles and also broke
No,
his leg.
he was playing with
Yeah,
a broken fibula.
yeah. and
He was
and
playing with a broken fibula, and they said that actually the human body, I've heard this
compensates.
say,
Yeah,
is one of the best compensators.
it does.
And so, um, that's what happened when, um, in basketball, what's his name? KD went
Hmm.
down with his pulled Achilles when he had a major calf injury.
Hmm.
He blew out his Achilles because the body tries to compensate for weak points with other areas that tend to give out under stress.
Well, exactly. And so the problem they've got this year is that they put Anthony Richardson on the physically unable to perform list, the pup list, at the beginning of the year. So he's not coming back. Now you got Daniel Jones out for the season. You have Riley Leonard, who essentially had 12 snaps in the preseason. And so
Yeah,
they're so desperate at the quarterback position, the Colts, that they're now bringing in Philip Rivers at 44
I
years old.
know.
He's now a grandfather, and they're
It's
bringing him
it's
in to try
hilarious.
out this week. So it's just a
That's what
desperate
nine
situation.
kids at home will do for you, man.
I
Make you
know,
unretire. Just
but that's why they were
like Tom
playing.
Brady.
That's why they were playing Daniel Jones, even with a cracked fibula, because they're so desperate on the quarterback situation. So
I know.
this is a really good lesson for everyone out there. You have to have two, maybe even three guys who can win you a game on a roster
Yeah,
these days.
that's
But what
right.
do you think of the Colts? I mean, they start 8-1, now they're 8-5. They've lost four straight, and they essentially don't have a quarterback.
It's a tragic
Yeah,
example of what injuries can do to you in the NFL. They're in a very weak division, and they should
they've
be
got a good
running away
roster.
with it.
They have a
They
really
should
good
be
roster.
running away with it. I think their roster's good, but I think a lot of players are playing hurt now. And I know that's true of a lot of teams, but most of those teams that are experiencing similar injuries are all starting to falter.
So they go from number one seed, and in 4 weeks, they're now saying they're probably going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I think
So
they're gonna.
that's how devastating this was. Another team that was really great last year is there on the bottom left, and that's Jaden Daniels, who is trying to tough it out coming off injury. He keeps coming back and getting hurt again. He got
Yeah,
absolutely blasted about five times in this game, and I was thinking to myself watching the highlights, why is he playing for a 3-9 team that's not going to make the play?
yeah.
Why is he
I don't
playing?
know.
So I think you've got to put him on the shelf. I think he's too valuable to your franchise long term. But what do you think happened to the Commanders this year? I mean, they've lost eight straight now.
I'm not exactly sure.
It's crazy.
Something didn't work. Um, they definitely are on the older side, and they have a lot of
They had,
veterans kind of are struggling to stay healthy.
they had
They
the Terry
they
McLaurin
they
holdout,
haven't
which really
addressed
hurt.
the offensive line thing. The Terry McLaurin thing was a huge distraction. I think it really derailed their season.
It derailed it, and then he missed the first 11 weeks of the season, and you're paying him
Yeah,
35 million.
he missed.
Yeah.
And then Jaden's been getting hit way too much,
Hmm.
so he's not a big enough guy to take that kind of punishment.
That's right. That's
So he's
exactly
like a
right. So
smaller Lamar, you know?
I'm actually hoping now they put him on the shelf because he's too valuable to that franchise. He's kind of
Yeah,
a
I'd say
slender
so. I
build.
mean, if you can't protect him, I don't necessarily want you to wipe out your second guy, but it's you have
I
to
mean,
protect your.
Marcus Mariota was playing okay. He had them in a couple games there.
Yeah,
He's keeping them
he's fine.
competitive. Yeah. So then another guy that's possibly flaming out is Baker Mayfield. He really had this team rolling. They were 6-2. They were sitting in the number three seed spot in the NFC, and then ever since they've gone 1-4 and looked pretty atrocious in some of these games. And this loss against the Saints was just inexcusable. And they essentially have let the Panthers back into the playoff race. They're now tied for
Yeah.
first in the South. So what's
I
your take?
always,
Your take on the Bucks? What do
always,
you think?
I always thought that Baker was getting wildly overrated with all this Baker Mayfield MVP talk.
Hmm.
Um, I think that he's a good quarterback.
I like Baker. I think he's dealt with
He
a lot of
plays with a lot of
injuries.
emotion. I think they
Yeah.
love him. He's sort of like Jameis Winston, but a little
Yeah.
better.
Hmm.
Uh, he's a team favorite. They would do anything for him. He makes a lot of great plays, but he has some bonehead,
To
just
be fair,
unbelievably bad plays.
both of his running backs and both of his top receivers have been in and out of the lineup this whole year. He's had
Yeah,
a lot of injuries to deal with. If you're fair, so
yeah.
they have,
Bucky's back though, running.
he is, but they haven't
I,
had their full cast of characters in a long time. It's really
yeah,
hurt.
Mike Evans.
Yeah, and Godwin's been out most of the season,
Hmm.
and White and all these guys. So yeah, just to be fair, he isn't dealing with his first string starters most of the time. So, but it feels like they're
But
choking away
it's
this really nice
it's
lead they
fair to
have.
say that uh, Baker Mayfield for MVP talk was pretty silly.
It was premature. Yeah,
It was pretty silly. I mean,
they seem to be choking away the NFC South. That's what it feels like.
yeah,
We'll see what
which is
happens.
the worst division in football.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. The Panthers and Bucks play one more time against each other. That's going to be a huge game. So. Another
Yeah,
guy
that,
who's trying to come back off an injury and won last week, but then lost very narrowly this week, played pretty well. But his team just, it looks like they're not going to be able to get back into the race, is Joe Burrow. They essentially went out to a 3-8 start and just really tough to come off of that. They were hoping to go on and rattle off 4 or 5 in a row. Just not going to happen. So, what's your take on the Bengals? And this seems like this has happened every year the last 3 years or so. They just can't keep anybody healthy, especially the
I think
quarterback.
he's the most talented quarterback in football. He's one, and um, Matthew Stafford is 1A.
Mm-hmm.
And look at Matthew Stafford's ensemble cast versus Burrow's. I mean, Burrow has
Mm-hmm.
nice receivers, but nothing else.
Right.
They haven't been able to
True.
address anything.
True.
Running game, offensive line, tight ends,
You always
whatever.
talk about Penny Sewell, how they should have gotten Penny Sewell, and
Yeah,
but you know what? They've had 2 or 3 years since then to go get offensive
I
line
know.
help. And it
They
doesn't feel like
keep
they've done it.
they keep trying to get this guy and that guy, and then Jamar Chase and
I mean,
all those guys
don't
trying
they
to
want
get
to
paid.
protect? Don't they want to protect this generational quarterback? I mean, when you have a generational quarterback, that should be your number
Yeah.
one priority.
And they got a guy named Hendrickson who's leading the league last year in sacks, and they won't pay him. I don't know. It's complicated. They're not very good. They're not talented.
Hmm.
They
Well,
got a few shining stars. That's it.
they have some really nice weapons. They have an
Yeah.
amazing quarterback, and then they lose in the trenches. And again, in every game, it comes down to the trenches, and
Yep.
that's what happens. And he just gets
And
battered.
and in every game, Burrow just goes limping off because he's getting pummeled.
Right? Exactly. So the last team on the chart here is Dak Prescott leading a 6-1 team. This team has the number one offense in the NFL consistently every week, and yet they lose 44-30 because their
Yeah.
defense is absolute trash. Cannot stop anybody
It showed
running or
improvement throughout the season, but I'll tell you what,
really.
they fall apart during against really good teams.
Right.
The defense does smoke and mirrors against mediocre teams and
Mm-hmm.
does okay and does decently well. But when they play a real contender, their defense isn't good enough. They got a long way to go still on that defense.
Right.
It
It's
showed
true.
signs of improvement, but it's not real sustained
They've
improvement.
added some pieces that have been pretty nice. Quinnen Williams was a nice
Yeah.
pickup, but no, they're nowhere near a complete defense. Absolutely agreed. I think also losing Dan Quinn 2 years ago really hurt them because he had them going. So
I don't
looking
know.
at the
Their offense is
scoreboard,
humming.
that's true. Looking at the scoreboard, the Lions took down the Cowboys 44-30. This was, if you like offense, man, this game was fantastic. Jahmyr Gibbs went off again. One of my concerns for the Lions is when Jahmyr Gibbs has these games, they win. When he doesn't, they lose. They seem to be very Jahmyr Gibbs centric right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, St. Brown's fantastic, but not every game they can get him the ball.
Yeah, but
Williams
I'll be honest, Jamison Williams has looked
he has
really
emerged.
good the last few
He,
weeks.
he's great. He is.
He looks like a superstar.
Um, and Dak and his complement of weapons had a really nice game. CeeDee Lamb had his best game in a while. This was just a slugfest. And like you said, the Cowboys defense just can't hold up. And what's your take on this one?
Well, I think Detroit's defense played really well. I mean, let's be honest here. What did Detroit's defense do? 5 sacks, 2 picks, and a fumble recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And they forced Dallas to kick 5 field goals, which means they held. They bend but don't break, and then you hold. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they got Brandon Aubrey over there,
He's
but
fantastic.
you don't want to do 5 field goals. Those are five
Right.
opportunities at 7 points, and you walk away with three.
Right.
You're gonna fall behind a high scoring offense.
That's the
I, I'm
difference in the
I
game.
I
Yeah,
believe in kicking the field goal, but if all you can do is keep generating field goals, you're not gonna win.
that's right.
So,
Not against the
um,
Lions.
by the way, uh, Aubrey was the first kicker to kick 3 field goals of 55 plus in one game.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty spectacular.
That's amazing. I know.
So
The
he's
guy is
he's the
just
best he's the best player on the Cowboys.
he's the best player on the Cowboys. He's the best kicker, I think, in a couple of years. I mean,
Maybe that I've ever seen.
he's changing that position. He's changing
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
They
he's a
do you
weapon.
realize that in fantasy he would be the sixth wide receiver in points?
Yeah,
He's
that's
like a
crazy.
weapon.
I
He's a
know.
weapon. That's what he
Yeah.
is.
But
It's
yeah,
crazy.
Gibbs is a special player,
He is.
incredible running back, and he was
He's
really
unbelievable.
it was Gibbs the difference on offense, and the Lions defense
By the
just
way, the Lions
went
really
wild.
needed that game because they had really been kind of limping for a while, and the
Yeah.
Packers keep winning. They really needed that win.
Yeah,
So
it felt like they were extra
mhm.
focused, like we have to get this win or our season's over kind of thing.
That's right.
And it felt that way. It's not that they were playing like angry or anything. They were just playing like desperate, like almost like the whole game. Uh, it felt like the clock was running out on them, kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it,
So,
but
so this next game, if you had any doubts about whether the Seahawks can make a run to the Super Bowl, you just had to watch this game because they had a complete performance in all three phases. It was crazy to watch. Sam
yeah,
Darnold, 20 for 30. Smith and Jigba, I think, is the best receiver in football. Both of their running
yes,
backs had great days. They have a two-headed monster at running back. They held Bijan Robinson to 86 yards, and they comfortably cruise in at 37-9 in this game. So, what's your thought on this one?
yeah. I think it's the most surprising team in the NFL this year, Seattle. They're
Mm-hmm.
extremely talented all over the field. They have offense, defense, etc. They have a nice pickup in Shaheed. He
Mm-hmm.
had an incredible touchdown return
Mm-hmm.
for a kickoff. It was 100 yarder, first one of the season for the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a um,
And what
special
an
run.
upgrade for him because he comes from a really bad Saints team and he comes on the other sideline from Smith and Jigba, which is great for him.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But it
yeah,
was
good.
incredible. They were it was a very tight first half. You felt like Seattle was going to win, but it was going to be a real tight. And then second half, they just blasted them. They scored 17 in the third and 14 in the fourth,
They're
and they
incredibly
just
impressive, the Seahawks. They're
they
incredibly
unloaded.
impressive. And they're well
That's
coached too.
31 points in a half.
Hmm. Yeah, that's right. They're very well coached as well. I will say a lot of people were picking Falcons as a dark horse playoff slash wild card team this year. Man, if they not been that, they've been incredibly
Yeah,
disappointing this year.
I think
So,
they run just enough with Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker
hmm.
to keep you a little bit honest. But
Hmm.
those guys aren't stars. They're not going to terrify a defensive coordinator. But they do enough to make it so that you can't just double Smith and Jigba all over the field now that Shaheed's there. And they
And
got
no
Cooper
one talks
Cup, and
about.
he's making some nice
I was
plays.
about to say that he had a
He had a
touchdown and he
touchdown.
looked really good in this game. And you know who
Yeah,
else they have? They have a couple good tight ends, and no one talks about them. But what happens
Warner.
is these guys go deep and they stretch the field. And in the middle, there's these huge holes that Barner and the other tight ends sit
Yeah.
down in,
And you know what else? You know what else is interesting? Not only do they have a 1-2 punch at running back, but both of them are receivers.
Right.
You
Mhm.
show me another team that has that.
I know.
It's not that common to have both your running backs that you rotate in as a platoon are both receivers. The Lions don't have that. Montgomery doesn't catch the ball much.
This GM should get some votes for GM of the year. He found a way
Yeah,
to get Geno Smith out of town and get a draft pick for him.
yeah.
And they
And
found
they're doing this with guys that you haven't heard of very much.
and they got Sam
Charbonnet
Darnold.
and
They got Sam
Walker.
Darnold. They got Sam Darnold for no compensation.
They picked up Cooper Kupp for nothing. They got
Yeah, yeah,
Rashid Shaheed out of New Orleans. Not much
yeah.
happening there. He's a
Fifth round
speedster.
pick. You got him for a
Yeah,
fifth round pick. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. This GM,
It
he should
allowed
get some
it
votes.
allowed Jackson Smith and Jigba to like become
That's right.
a wide receiver one and then some.
They're really impressive. So
Yeah,
this game was
good stuff.
fantastic. I watched every snap. It was just so fun to watch. It felt like two playoff
Yeah,
teams were desperate for their
snow.
playoff life in the snow, which you would think would be
Somehow
really
this one
low
wasn't like a
scoring.
regular snow game where it was like 9-6.
That's right.
They
Yeah.
they could execute offense. I could watch a game like that.
This was fun to watch because Burrow had 4 touchdowns. And then, of
Yeah.
course, Josh Allen, as always, just went absolutely off, including a 60-yard run on his own. Cook had a really nice day. He threw a lot to his tight ends, Dalton Knox and Kincaid, who both had
Hmm.
impactful games. What's your thought on this game? I mean, it felt like a playoff game or something. It was really fun to
It
watch.
really felt kind of a desperation. At halftime, I kind of felt like Cincinnati had it. It was going to win.
I thought so
And
too.
it was just a brutal fourth quarter that kind of cinched it for the Bills. I was really impressed in this game with Josh Allen.
Me too.
There's times where I think they ask him to do too much, and James Cook is clearly the star. This game, he had to take him on his back and go win it, and he did it.
Mhm.
It was an impressive Josh Allen highlight
And
reel.
I will say also the Bills' defense, although not great this year, we know that they have some real holes. But there are times in games like this where they do step up and make a play at the end because
Yeah,
Burrow was almost unstoppable in this game, and
yeah.
they made a couple plays in the end just to preserve the victory. So
Banford's
yeah,
pick six was unbelievable.
that was amazing.
He just reached up and stabbed it as Burrow tried to loop it over his head,
Yep.
stabbed it and just ran. And it
And
was
Joey
such an
Joey
athletic
Bosa,
play.
Joey Bosa's had a great year for
Yeah,
the Bills, and then
yeah.
Milano is a really good linebacker for that.
Yeah, I'm not very impressed with the
Yeah,
Bills defense, but I was in this game.
yeah,
They played tough.
they
They
did.
hung in there. They only got one sack, but they definitely got to Burrow a little bit, and they got him a little bit rattled. He had some really important, crucial, pivotal, I should say, interceptions
He did.
that
He,
really hurt his team.
but overall, he played really well. I mean, I could
He
watch Joe.
looked great. I think he's the best quarterback in football,
I
but I
think Joe
think that
Burrow and Josh
he's
Allen.
alone out there, man.
I could watch the two of them play all day long.
Me too.
That's a lot of fun to watch.
I
I
like
love it.
watching Burrow play.
So this game was crazy. Titans pick up their second win of the year. They go to 2-11 and beat a really bad Browns team. Nobody knew who was going to win the Battle of the Toilet Bowl. Shador Sanders actually played pretty well. He had some really nice deep balls in this game. And there was some talk after the game that Shador Sanders can do things that Dylan Gabriel cannot, especially in the deep ball game. But he also makes some mistakes that Dylan Gabriel doesn't make because he's more cautious. So it's kind of like if you could just figure out a way to combine the two players into one player, you'd really have something. But he does give you an element that Dylan Gabriel does not give you. And then Tony Pollard had a fantastic game for the Titans, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he looked great.
And Ward picked up his second win. So what's your take on this one? And what does this say about the Titans and the Browns as they battle it out for first pick of the draft?
I think Shador is a starter in the league, but he's a couple years away from really being consistently good. But there's flashes of playmaking ability. He's got the pedigree, but he's also got the football background. I think he's going to pick it up fairly quickly from his dad, just working with him and talking to him.
I think he can play.
Um,
I agree with you. I
I
think
think he
he
can
can play.
play. I think he can
Mhm.
play. I think they shouldn't be playing him this year.
Do you remember the
It'd be
first
better
couple of
if he was
years?
sitting.
Remember the first couple of years of Josh Allen and how he used to throw a lot of picks, but also he had a lot of explosive plays.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
kind of like that.
and you were like, if you could just get rid of the turnovers, man, you'd really have something.
Yeah.
That's where Shador is right now. If you could get rid of like those two or three passes that are, you just kind of scratch your head like, what the heck was that? Get rid of
These
those. He's
these
gonna
are
be a really
good
good
young
quarterback.
quarterbacks that
Yeah.
are playing on bad teams. What's going to happen is, unless their GMs get some talented players around them pretty quickly, the fan base is going to say they're busts. They're going to give up on them. They're going to go to teams that know how to win, and they're going to turn them into something. And everyone's going to be scratching their head. Where did this Sam Darnold come from? Where did, you know, don't give up on these guys. That's
Well, now that
that's
you've
my
given
message is
Shador,
don't give up on Ward, don't give up on Shadur, don't give up on Dylan Gabriel,
yeah,
don't give up on
ask the
these young
Seahawks,
guys.
ask the Seahawks and the Bucks.
It might take 7 years, it might take five.
Yeah, yeah.
Stay with them, relax, let them learn. But I
So
wouldn't be
now that
playing.
Shador has gotten some action, don't you think he should start the last four games of the year just to see what he can
I
develop
guess
into?
so,
I mean,
but
you're out of the
I I
playoffs.
I'd let him sit and watch this entire season. And then
Hmm.
you have 4 years where they're on the rookie deal and they have some experience under their belt. I think Cam Ward, is on a terrible team. They're 2 and
He is.
11.
He
They're
is.
2 and 4 on the road,
Hmm.
which isn't good. I mean, they're just they're kind of an okay team that loses a lot. They need a lot of pieces. I
I have
don't
to
think
tell you,
that's not where you teach a young quarterback.
they do have some pieces though. Like Tony Pollard, I've never seen him
Yeah,
run this well before. They have
yeah,
a couple.
pretty good.
They need a couple drafts. So
Yeah.
do the Browns.
Yeah, they
He's
need a
he's.
lot of help. They don't have any receivers. I mean, Shamir
Hmm.
DK is good, but I think he's
Hmm.
like a number three or number four on most teams. He's
Shador
not a
seems to
number
have a
one.
nice connection with Fannin. He seems to be his favorite target,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's pretty good player. So next game, I just
Well, hold
Rob.
on a sec. Let's go back to Shadur. Um, did you see him get tackled? And there's a rumor going around that he was wearing a thong.
What?
It was hilarious. Yeah.
No.
And they had a phone call the other day on a podcast where Silo, his brother, was giving him a hard time. Very funny.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. The funny thing is it wasn't a thong. He said it was he has his back taped in a special way and the tape
Mhm.
had shifted in a way that made it look like a thong.
Oh my
But
God.
that was funny. The other thing in that game was, did you see that play where um Cam Ward, he tried to tackle Cam Ward and he like threw him
Yeah,
off
I did
and
see
threw
that.
the ball?
Yep.
That was so
Hmm.
cool. I love that.
That was
Your
cool.
team can rally around that hardcore.
Agreed. So
Moving
next
on.
game is the most inexplicable game I've seen the entire season. You have JJ McCarthy's been wholly ineffective this year. He didn't really have a lot of passing yards, but he had three touchdown passes.
Don't give
And
up
the
on JJ McCarthy. Just
yeah, the same
relax,
thing.
bring him
He really
along.
probably shouldn't be playing because he's kind of like a rookie this year.
Yeah.
But Jones got the ball running and he got the ball spread around to all his receivers. And although Jefferson only had two catches, but he really kind of spread it around to all his different targets. And on the other side of the ball, the Commanders got decimated. I don't think I've seen an offensive line performance like this before. It was just jailbreak on every play.
Yeah.
And Jaden Daniels had no chance to throw. He had about a second to throw on every play. And it's just so sad to see what's become of the Commanders. I mean, they're playing a pretty bad Vikings team and they get decimated like this. So, what is your take on this game? What can we take from it?
Well, we grew up Washington fans, so it's especially painful. But if you're just looking at it objectively, this team just has a lot of needs and a lot of holes. I
Mhm.
don't really know where you start fixing it. I think you'd have to do a really deep dive with video on assessing your player position
Rob,
groups.
Rob, this team was in the NFC Championship game last year.
I know, and they had a lot of luck getting there because they were able to ride the rookie um, hot streak and hot hand. But were they really that talented?
Hmm.
Somewhat. I mean, they got rid of Brian Robinson. That hurts, I think. Um,
I mean, they pretty easily beat
Ertz,
the Lions in the
Ertz got
playoffs.
hurt. He had a great
Mhm.
year last year, and he got
Mhm.
hurt really badly in this game. That's
Mhm.
demoralizing when some of your favorite players go down. Terry McLaurin is a shadow of himself
Mhm.
because he's out of shape and all that stuff.
That Ertz
And
injury is one of the worst I've ever seen. A
Ertz
knee.
injury is unbelievable. And Debo seems to be like kind of a shadow of himself. And there's no time to throw. I think
Mhm.
that the defense actually played decently well. Statistically speaking, they got 4 sacks,
Mhm.
but there was some pressure. But I mean, I see Terry McLaurin in the tackle category, so that's not good. I
No,
mean, you
it's
don't
not
want to
good.
see your wide receivers accounting
Getting
for
tackles.
tackles.
That's right.
That's not good.
No.
But hey, I've been saying it. Hang on to these rookie and second year quarterbacks that are struggling. Don't pull the plug on them. Stay with them. They're going to be effective one day. You'll be really sorry that you got rid of them.
And same thing
And
with Jaden. You know, he's on a bad team this year, but you
and
don't. It's not like you give up
and
on him. So.
honestly, sometimes good defenses just struggle and play poorly. I think Minnesota's defense has played a little poorly over the last few weeks. That's a good defense. I mean,
Hmm.
Van Ginkel and all these guys, there's a lot of good players on that defense. They have a good coach on defense. So the fact that they blanked Washington is not that surprising if they could kind
Hmm.
of get out of their own way and play decently. And the fact that JJ McCarthy seems like the light went on a little bit, not surprising either. All
Yeah.
these young quarterbacks, stay with them, be patient,
Yeah.
take your
They
lumps,
they
lose
need
your
reps.
bad losses.
They need reps. You know, that's what it
They
is.
need
Game
reps. They
reps.
need to learn how to win before,
Mhm.
they need to lose before they learn how to win.
I tell you, every time Van Ginkel does something, I think of you because I think of him on the Dolphins and not
Oh,
understanding why he's not on the Dolphins.
I
Because
don't,
he's like a
money,
ball
you're
hawk.
saving money.
He's literally like a ball hawk linebacker. Like I've never
I know.
seen that before. It's crazy. He gets so many interceptions.
They didn't want to pay him. Why not?
Mm,
Like,
he's so good.
who do you want to pay?
I know. So
Uh,
next game you got to be very happy about. The Dolphins win their fourth in a row, and they go to 6-7. They now have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs. And they beat a pretty bad Jets team very handily, 34-10. Shane had another big day. Really, almost everybody on Miami had a really nice day. Um, what is your thought about this game and Dolphins really rounding into shape now?
well, they're running the ball really well, and that is a special new development over the last few weeks, and has really turned the tide for Mike McDaniel. I mean, it's
Eh,
almost like he gave up on throwing every down when Tyreek went down. It took a few weeks to kind of get their feet under him, but Tom, Jalen Wright had 107 yards on
I saw that.
24 carries
I know.
and a touchdown. So he was a grinder.
By the way, he's their third back. That's what's crazy. You know, they're so
Well,
deep.
I think he's second. I
Yeah.
think he's second. But and then Shane had 92 yards
Hmm.
and a touchdown. So they're running effectively. And Jalen Waddle had a run for 21 yards.
Hmm.
They're running the ball well. I mean, they're.
And all of a sudden, the Dolphins' defense is coming together and starting to play pretty well. They're flying around the ball.
And by the way, they
Yeah,
also have Ollie Gordon.
yeah,
So
that's what I'm
they
saying.
have depth at the running
Mhm.
back position, and they're not reliant on Tua winning the game for them because he's not going to.
And Malik
He can
Washington has become a nice second target for them. And they've
he
got
can maybe not lose it for you, but
mhm.
he's not going to win it for you. But
He's
I
a
think
game
that
manager.
the story of the show was definitely the Dolphins defense. I mean,
I agree. I
six
agree.
six six sacks, seven tackles for loss, and three
Mhm.
picks, I believe it was.
Mhm.
3 picks is spectacular. I mean that's
It
all
is.
kinds of pressure. That's all kinds of derailing the plans of the offense. So
Mhm.
that was an impressive display for the defense.
So, according to the NFL, they now have an 8% chance of making the playoffs, but it's not zero. Do you think they could
I think
continue
it's
this?
maybe a little higher. It's more like 30, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, they have some really tough games coming up,
Yeah,
so they really can't lose any more games.
right.
You just got to keep going on. They got to win the next four, essentially,
Yeah,
to get in.
maybe
So, do you
three out of
think
four.
you think they can do it?
I think so. I think their division is soft. I'm
Hmm.
not impressed with the Bills, and I think the Bills are the best in the division.
Hmm. Well, no,
So,
I disagree. The Patriots are by far the best in the division.
yeah, I'm
Patriots
sorry,
are
I
11
blanked
and
out on
2.
that. I blanked out
Yeah,
on that.
they're 11 and 2.
Um,
Yeah.
the Pats are great this year. The Pats are great. The Bills have slipped a lot, and the Dolphins seem
Hmm.
to be ascending because they're running the ball and they're playing defense.
Hmm.
So that's what championship teams do.
Their only way in
That's
is to get to 10 and 7. They got to win the next four, get to 10 and 7, and just hope they can get the wild card. That's their way in.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And by the way, that's what the Patriots are doing.
hmm.
They're finding ways to play fundamental football, which is usually running the ball or having Drake May throw nice, safe passes, and they're playing good defense, and they're
Literally,
playing with a lot of guts.
the way the McDaniel and the Dolphins have played the last 4 weeks is something you and I have been screaming at them to do for 3 years now, and they
Yeah,
never
I know.
do it. And now all of a sudden, 4 weeks in a row, they're doing it. They're run first, play solid defense, complementary football. Tua's managing the game, not making many mistakes, getting the ball to receivers in little short patterns and letting them run after the catch. It's exactly the way they should play. I don't know why they didn't do it before, but anyway,
I
congrats to
agree.
the Dolphins to get themselves back into contention. This game
Yeah,
was the shocker of the weekend. The Saints knock off the Buccaneers.
yeah.
This is just inexcusable when you see your schedule at the beginning of the year and you see Tyler Shuck is the quarterback of the Saints and you're the Buccaneers. You're supposed to win the division.
I'm telling
And
you, be patient with these young guys. It'll pay off.
yeah, and all of a sudden Shuck's made some really nice plays the last 2 weeks and it looks pretty
Mhm.
confident. So what's your
Yeah, the
take
light
on
goes on eventually.
this? I mean, this game was
But
in Tampa.
I like his stat line, 13 of 20,
Mm-hmm.
144. I don't like that he has no TDs and one interception, but they're not asking him to do too much.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You know, hey Shuck, you're a rookie. You're gonna throw the ball 20 times maximum, and they're gonna be,
By the way, he picked up a
relatively
couple
safe.
first downs with his feet. He did a couple nice runs, and I don't
Yeah,
know. He's coming along.
he averaged 7 yards a throw. So I
Hmm.
mean, that's doable. You're not asking him to air it out. Bad things happen.
But
So
doesn't this say more about the Buccaneers? You're at home. You're supposed to win this game, and you lay an egg. I mean, I don't understand it. They haven't been playing well for a couple, maybe 4 or 5 weeks now.
yeah, it's weird because they got Bucky Irving back, and
Hmm.
15 carries for him. I don't know that
Hmm.
it says a lot about the Bucks. I think that it shows that they have some weaknesses that you can exploit.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not that impressed with the Bucks defense, and I
Hmm.
have been in the past. So I'm not really sure. I mean, they had 3 sacks.
I will
I
say
just,
this was a division game. I mean, one of the Panthers' losses this year was the Saints too. So two of their wins have been against division games, and this is the kind of situation these teams play each other multiple times a year. They know each other really well. I guess it's understandable that you would get a loss in division. It just happens. So, you know
yeah,
what
I
I
think
mean?
so. I think so. I mean, your division opponent's the best.
Yeah.
You have a lot of rivalry. Home team, home games against in-division rivals tend to be very spirited, and you need the win badly because every win is a loss for your opponent that you're going to go against,
Think about it. The
and
Panthers. The Panthers.
it knocks you forward one and him backward one. It's every win against a division opponent is like 2 wins.
Think about it. The Panthers lost to the Saints. It was their only loss at home this year at Bank of America Stadium, and then the
Yeah,
week after that, they beat Green Bay in Green Bay. Like, it doesn't make any
I think
sense.
there's a human element too, where it's easy to overlook a bad team. And I
Yeah.
think the first half of the year, the Saints were bottom three in the NFL,
Hmm.
and
For sure.
they've gotten better. You know,
A
Olave's
little bit.
showed up, and Shuck, they made the switch to Shuck, and I
Hmm.
think that he's given them some energy and some juice and some a little bit of belief. You know,
He's definitely
that
upgraded from what they had before. There's no doubt about it.
yeah,
He's giving them a little lift. So this game was just sad. I mean, you look at Trevor Lawrence, 17 for 32, 44, two touchdowns. But if you really watch this game, Lawrence didn't particularly play well. Etienne ran the ball well,
yeah,
but
Etienne's having a good year.
this felt like it was more about the Colts. They're just pathetic right now. They just are horrible on both sides of the ball. Both lines of scrimmage are getting decimated. And this is when I thought the Colts had the two best lines in football at the beginning of the year. And they're just not good right now. And Jaguars have a good defense and just kind of tore them apart. So, what's your take on
Well,
this one?
I'm not that surprised on this. I said that the Jags were one of my sleeper teams that was headed for a better season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Trevor Lawrence is doing a decent enough job overall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of games where he looked terrible, like at the end of the game, throws the interception, whatever. But for the most part, he's steady and he's a complement to ATN's running the ball really well. And they got Jacoby Myers, Basil Tutin, um, Brian Thomas Jr. And they got some players there now. Over the last 2 years, they've put in place some weapons, and I think they're still building, but and they have a ways to go to be Super Bowl champs or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like I mean I did call this in it
You
was
did.
around week
You
one or
did.
two.
You 100%
I
did.
felt like they were going to be Jags are going to be better and
But you
nine and
don't think
four. I
they're a
mean,
contender, do you? You don't think they're a
no,
contender? I thought you
no,
said
I didn't
contender.
even say. I said I wasn't even sure they'd make the playoffs, but they were going to be a lot better than they were.
I mean, as the Colts fade, and I think they're going to continue to fade because they don't have a quarterback, but as they
Yeah,
fade, you now have the Jaguars and the Texans battling for that division. So it'll be interesting to watch. See who comes out of
I
that
think the
division.
Texans are a little better team,
Hmm.
but
Well, impressive win for the Jaguars, and
yeah,
Colts are just going in the opposite direction right now. So the Steelers take down the Ravens in a game the Ravens absolutely had to have if they wanted to make the playoffs this year. They go to 6-7, and the Steelers go to 7-6. Aaron Rodgers plays pretty darn well. The defense made some timely plays that they really needed to have at critical points of the game. Derrick Henry, I thought, had a pretty good day, but overall, Steelers get it done in the end and hold off the Ravens. And the Ravens really, at this point, are essentially out of the playoffs. They have something like a 6% chance to make it. So, what's your take on this game and the Steelers taking control of that division?
well, I think it's actually an underrated rivalry. I think these two teams play about as violent of a game every time they play as there is. Um, it, I'm not sold on where Aaron Rodgers is in this whole journey, but he still has a lot of talent for sure. There, in this game, they didn't ask him to do too much, which is nice. They're beat up on a team that's hanging its head a little bit, the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, this game could have gone a different way. Um, they actually used Jalen Warren as a dual threat of
Mm-hmm.
receiving and rushing,
He had some
and I
really
think
nice
that
plays.
they
Yeah.
need to do more of that. DK
Uh-huh.
Metcalf had 148 yards. He played great,
That was his
and
best game of the season, DK Metcalf.
when it all comes down, the Isaiah Likely catch that they called off,
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a touchdown. Like you
Yeah.
know, I think that
Yep.
was a touchdown. There's got to be three elements to making a catch.
Mm-hmm.
The first element is secure and control the ball. I think he did that. The second one is you have to have 2 feet inbounds. He
Mm-hmm.
did that. And the third element is you have to perform an act that is common to the game. after you've secured 1 and 2. And the reason they said that it wasn't a catch was that he did the third thing second. So he did
Mhm.
the first thing, then the third thing, and then the second thing and fumbled.
Mhm.
They said the order was wrong, therefore it counts as a fumble. So what he did was he caught the ball, reached the ball out, which is the act, and
Mhm.
um then got his feet down, and then the guy slapped the ball out of there.
Mhm.
He did
That's right.
no act after he got his feet down. So I don't agree with that. In slow motion, you saw that he got his third foot down, which is another common act. If you look at in fast motion, it looks like he only got 2 feet down. In my opinion, in slow motion, when they were looking at it, the third leg foot going down, the second time one of the feet goes down, so it goes bink, bink, bink.
Yep.
The
Yep.
third one is considered to act. So I think that was a touchdown. It's almost irrefutable in my head. It's not even that confusing. So that would have swung the game a little bit, you know?
Kind of, but it still would have been 27-26 because that cost them 4 points. So I still don't think they would have won. But you're right.
Well,
I mean, if
I'm
whether it was
saying
a
that
touchdown or not.
this
Mhm.
wasn't some domination or something
No,
that
no, it wasn't.
it could have gone either way. These two teams, best rivalry, as good as any other rivalry in football.
They call it
Like
the black and blue division
what
for a reason. That's why they
what do you
call it.
think the best rivalries are in terms of putting two teams together that always just have brawls? And
And this is
not brawls like fighting necessarily, but just watch the linemen smash into each other. And
this is one of them. I mean, there's no
yeah,
question.
it's
Yeah,
as good as it gets in the NFL.
Kansas City, Denver is another big one.
Yeah.
Kansas City Bills. There's a lot of good
And
rivalries
by the
right
way,
now.
there's a lot of rivalries, but
Hmm.
with passion and history where they're fighting for playoffs,
Hmm. That's true.
it's hard to find one better than this.
What is your take on why the Ravens haven't been able to get it done this year? What is it about them that they're just falling short?
I'm not sure. I've felt for years that Lamar Jackson was wildly overrated. And I'm not a hater. I think he's good. I just don't think he's great.
Hmm.
I've seen him demolish my Dolphins. So I've seen him
Hmm.
when he's at his best. It's tragic. He's so good when he's on fire that
Hmm.
he makes you believe that he can do that anytime.
Do you think he's not
Um,
100%? I think he's playing hurt. I think he's just
he
not
might
saying
be
it, but
playing hurt. I don't
he's
know.
100%.
I know that he makes a lot of mistakes, and
He's
that
much
really
better than
costs
this.
his team.
Yeah. Yeah, he's much better than this. In those two MVP seasons he had, he was much better than this. He wasn't making these kind of mistakes. He was on point.
Yeah,
And Rodgers, this had to be his most satisfying win of the year for sure. He had had some real struggle games. People were starting to
yeah,
question, was the Rodgers experiment really worth it? We should have stuck with Russell Wilson or Justin Fields or something. But I
yeah.
think coming out of this game, they're happy they went with Rodgers. He gave them a little bit of an upgrade for sure
Little belief. Yeah.
on the offensive. So,
You know, it was a crazy stat. The Steelers ran for 34 yards
mhm.
and the Ravens ran for 217.
Yeah, I know.
That's a huge discrepancy for the team that ran more to lose.
That usually tells you who's going to win for sure.
Yeah.
So this was a classic game for the Broncos. They do just enough on offense. I mean, barely enough to win. And they do so much on defense that they hold the other team down, and then they win by one score. That's what they've done all year, and they're 11-2 doing that. They
Second
kind of
best
feel
defense in football.
they feel like the Chiefs last year. The Chiefs won all those one-score games
Yeah.
and went out to a 15-2 record. And that's how the Broncos feel this year. They feel like they're going to win all these games by one score. My question is, when is your luck gonna run out? Because you can't
In
do
the
this in the
in the
playoffs.
playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I think.
You don't sustain a lot of luck in the playoffs. It's a grind. Everyone's tense and plays tight,
Right.
and you rarely pull off luck in the playoffs. It's usually very well earned.
They're going to come up against a Josh Allen or someone like that who's going to get hot one day, and they're going to have to try to win 4 games in a row. And it's going to be tough because one of those days they're going to be against a really hot quarterback, and they won't be able to keep up on the scoreboard. But
And
congrats to them, 11-2. Any other thoughts when you look at the stats of this one?
just yeah, Bo Nix, 31 of 38 is outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
And 212 yards, no TDs, no interceptions, 75.9 QBR. Very solid performance
Mm-hmm.
for a guy who's in his second year. Great. RJ Harvey looked good. He had a
Ex
touchdown, 75
ex
yards.
UVA Cavalier, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did great.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think they had a pretty balanced attack, used a lot of different receivers. They didn't rely on one guy the whole time. And you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned their defense. I mean, they're the second best defense in football, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. They are very
Four
good.
sacks, five tackles for loss.
Mm-hmm.
And they just, I don't know, they hold you down and they pound on you a little bit and they hit you with a balanced offense. Usually relatively low turnovers, even though they'll make mistakes. They make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Nick still makes errors, but but they beat the Raiders. I mean, that's
That's
not
right.
that like
That's
they're not
true.
popping champagne.
It's in division, though. I mean, again, so you can kind
Yeah,
of throw the
it's in
records out a little
division.
bit.
It's on the road in division. Those are tough.
So here's my
The
question to
crowds
you,
get a
Robbie.
little extra loud, you know?
Here's my question to you, Robbie. Do you think Pete Carroll thought when he came back this year and we were going to do the Pete Carroll experiment? He's 72 years old. That he'd be sitting at 2-11.
No.
I mean, he had to think it wouldn't go this way. That they would just not only are they not better than last year, they've regressed in a lot of ways. So, what is your take on the Raiders?
They
What is
can't
it about?
yeah, they can't run the ball even though they have Genty. I mean,
Right,
um, because they don't have offensive line.
and they have all these great tight ends. They got Brock Bowers. They got Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good players on that team.
Their defense is decent usually.
Yeah,
It's their offense that's just depleted from not restocking well with the draft.
and I think we see why the Seahawks gave up on Geno Smith. They knew that he was very limited and that he wasn't going to take them anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think the Raiders are going to have to go ahead and draft a guy. They were going to take Penix, but he wasn't available. So I think they're going
I
to get
feel
their
like
guy
the
this year.
Raiders defense is relatively good enough to be on a good team.
Mm-hmm.
They need a little bit of pieces, but they're not too far away. If their offense could perform consistently, that they'd probably be a decent team, maybe even a playoff team. But their
What do you think?
offense just goes up and down.
What do you think about Mendoza or Pavia with the Raiders? See
Maybe,
what they
but
can
I hope
do.
they don't play him the first
Yeah, yeah,
12 games. Like,
yeah.
just no, no matter what happens.
Well, the Broncos and the Patriots are the two that are at the top of the AFC. What do you think of
Yeah.
this game? Packers and Bears. This was two playoff teams hitting
Yeah.
head to head in the black and blue division. Really tough game in Green Bay. There was snow on the ground. The hits were unbelievable in this game. You could actually hear them from
Yeah.
up top. Jordan Love, I thought, played really well, very efficient.
Yeah.
They're getting their running game going now. They didn't early in the year, but now Jacobs is going. Christian
Yes, he is.
Watson is rounding into one of the better receivers in football. The Bears, I didn't think played badly either. Um, so this is just a good game. What do you think
No,
about this one?
Bears are dramatically improved.
Yeah, for sure.
I know that Caleb Williams is the lowest ranked quarterback in most categories of starters who aren't just filling in for a game or something. They're at the bottom of the league in offense, but it doesn't feel like it. When you
Hmm.
watch them, they look pretty competent out there, pretty effective.
Hmm.
So I think that for them, they've found a running game, the Bears, with
Hmm.
Menange and DeAndre Swift kind of making a comeback. Feels
Hmm.
like they can run the ball on you, which is pretty nice.
And DJ Moore's
And,
having one of his best seasons. Uh,
they got weapons on
yeah.
offense.
Hmm.
Uh, but I feel like Green Bay is generally a pretty good team. I think they got wildly overrated in the beginning of the
Hmm.
year, and
Hmm.
therefore people were talking, Super Bowl or bust. And I'm like, man, you gotta get through the Lions. Like I don't feel that. but at the same time, they started to lose a little bit, and people turned too much against them. And I think they're a really good team.
I didn't know what to do with this game because I just wasn't sure what was going to happen in terms of the spread. So I went ahead and bet the Packers on the money line.
Mm.
So I just felt like the Packers were a little bit better, and I think that's what they proved in this game. They're just a little
Yeah, I
bit better.
think so. I think they are a
Yeah.
little bit better.
hmm Packers defense was pretty fearsome in terms of their pass rush. So really enjoyed watching
I'll
this
tell
game.
you, you
Two
you
good
said it
teams.
earlier. You said it earlier, that Christian Watson
Yeah,
he's a star now.
he
He's
is
a real star.
really good.
And I know they're missing their tight end, um,
hmm Kraft.
Kraft, but I'll tell you, they they've got a lot of nice pieces. And when
And they
Josh
were
Jacobs
throwing
is
to their
running,
they're throwing to a couple of their backup tight ends, and they're pretty good. The guys who are
yeah,
filling in
they're
for
pretty good.
Kraft. Yeah,
Yeah, they're good.
there's fall off, but not a lot of fall off. So
No, but they're not as much of a weapon. Like Kraft's one of those top 4 or 5 tight ends who everyone wants.
would it shock you if the end of the season the Packers are the number one seed? Would that shock you?
A little
Because
bit.
because
I
you
think
remember
they're
in the
just gonna.
preview show, you remember in the preview show when we started the season, you picked the Lions to be the number one seed. I picked
Yeah.
the Packers. I picked the Packers, and you thought it was crazy, but
Well,
um,
I just think they were getting overhyped.
yeah, I think they've got a good shot to number
They're a
one
very
seed
good team.
in the NFC.
And it feels like they're clicking a little bit on top of that.
So the best team in football by far is the LA Rams. Not only do they have a good offense, they've got a great defense.
Yeah.
They win again in commanding style, 45-17. Stafford looks almost perfect in this game. They all of a sudden have Blake Corum, who came off the Michigan Natty team, and he adds to a guy they already had in Williams. So they have a two-headed monster now. Nakua looks like he's, if not the best receiver in football, he might be the second best behind Smith and Jigba.
Hmm.
They're just absolutely rolling. I think Matt Stafford's playing the best football of his career. So, what is your thought about this game, and what do you think about the Rams?
Blake Corum at 128 yards rushing. He's a good young running back who is coming into his own all of a sudden. They still got Kyron Williams. They got a weapon
Mm-hmm.
that can mentor him. So they had these 2 running backs that are going off. And Puka Nacua is having that kind of season. But they have Devontae Adams over there. You
I
can't
know.
forget about him.
Sometitimes
So
Devontae Adams has a big game. Sometimes Nakua has a
yeah,
big game.
yeah.
Sometimes they
So
both.
pick
Yeah.
your poison. But
Mm-hmm.
it really goes back to Stafford. I was
Mm-hmm.
watching him and marveling, and I'm not even a huge Stafford fan.
Mm-hmm.
I usually have him on my fantasy team,
Mm-hmm.
and this year's no exception. But um, I haven't seen a starting quarterback throwing darts like he was this whole year. It was the best delivery I think I've seen from
Does
any
anybody
quarterback this
throw a
year.
prettier ball right now? Because I mean, anytime there's one-on-one coverage on one of his big receivers, he just
Yeah,
throws it up and he throws
it's a
it
frozen
perfectly.
rope
He
with
lays it
it's
in
like a
there.
laser,
Yeah.
and it's fired on a straight line right at the receiver, and it's always accurate.
hmm Yeah. He's just
But
fantastic.
the way he was zipping his spiral was so nice. It looked
Mhm.
perfect, you know.
Yeah,
So that's where it all starts is
that's
Stafford.
right. He's a nightmare to try to defend if you're a
Yeah,
defensive coordinator.
yeah, because he doesn't throw it soft enough to go bat it down. It's gonna get to the receiver
Because if you drop in two or three deep, guess what he does? He hands it off to Blake Corum.
or
He
Kyron
runs right up
Williams.
the middle, or Kyron Williams.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just, man, they're tough to play against. Whew.
yeah,
They got Tyler Higbee. They got big offensive line. Their defense is getting better and better with Jared Verse and those guys.
yeah. They can really apply pressure.
I don't know. I don't want to play the Rams if I'm anybody in the playoffs.
Well, I'm afraid they're getting overhyped, but
They might
I
be.
feel like they're really good. Like
They're awfully
they
good.
might be the best team in football. I'm not
Yeah,
sure. I think so.
yeah, I think so too.
As soon as you say it, though, they have a bad game.
I mean,
So
you look at them compared to like the Eagles, who are struggling so much on offense. Can the Eagles beat them? Yes, but are you going to bet for the Eagles? No, you're going to bet the Rams because the Rams are just a more complete team. So
I want to see Lions Rams.
that'd be a great game. Be a
Yeah,
really, really great game.
that would get you 30 million viewers or whatever.
So this game really felt like the end of the Chiefs dynasty. We've been kind of talking about it for a couple of years, and it never came true because they always found a way to get to the Super Bowl. This year, almost certainly are going to miss the playoffs. They dropped to 6-7, and they really looked old and slow, both on offense and defense. The pressure couldn't get there against C.J. Stroud, and the offense is, if it's not broken, it's severely limited in terms of what they can do. And the Texans were just absolutely flying all over the field and were hitting like I've not seen in a long time. It was crazy how hard they were hitting. Um, what's your take on this game where the Texans are rising and the Chiefs are looking like they're going to miss the playoffs?
I think there's a little too much hyperbole with how much the dynasty's over. I think it's been over. I think they got a little lucky last year to get all the way there. It seems to me like they've been slipping for a while and haven't really replaced, the talent that's
Mhm.
left. And there's way too much pressure put on Chris Jones.
Well, and also in years where he's got an offensive line, they look like barn burners and they go and win the Super Bowl. In years
Yeah,
where they don't have an offensive line, they get decimated.
true.
He can't operate right now. He doesn't have an offensive line. He's getting crushed on every play.
Yeah, but I think the Texans defense is so good that you have to take that into account. He's going to make you
Mhm.
not Patrick Mahomes. So that's a big part of this game right here.
I mean, Stroud didn't really even have that great a game. I mean, this could have been a huge blowout. Stroud actually was pretty inaccurate in this game, and
Mhm.
Texans really missed some scoring opportunities, but never
When's
felt
the
like
last
it was
time
in
you
doubt.
saw the Chiefs score 10 points?
Exactly. 10 points this late in the season when they have to have it
Yeah.
with that brain trust they've got on that coaching staff. I think it tells you all you need to know. And the Texans left probably 10 to 13 points out there that they should have had.
Yeah.
So, I think it says everything you need to know. And I think the Chiefs, you're right. In terms of the dynasty, I'm not really worried about that. But what I do know is that organization is really good in the front office and they have a great coaching staff. They'll assess their needs in the offseason and, don't bet against the Chiefs next year because they have that kind of front office and that kind of team, with that kind of
Yeah, and they don't
organization.
have that many needs. They just have a few glaring needs that they need to address, and they could
They
probably
need a
do it in
better running game,
one
and
draft.
they got to. I would just load up
Yeah,
on
they can't
offensive
run the
line.
ball, and they can't,
Yeah.
their
I'd go get
blocking is
like
questionable.
I'd go get like three linemen. That's what I would do. That's
Yeah,
what they need
same.
so badly. Yeah, and a pass rusher.
Yeah, I do two offense and two defense or something.
And all I can say is the Texans are very good. And if I'm in the AFC, I'm worried about them because they're going to get in and they can win a playoff game or two. They really can.
Yeah.
Eagles go down to the Chargers in overtime. I was supposed to go to bed last night and I had to watch it because it was like a train wreck. You had Jalen Hurts accounted for 5 turnovers. He had a 24 QBR. If he had just spiked the ball into the ground, he would have done better. And you had Herbert with a broken left hand, and he literally couldn't hold on to the ball. He fumbled 8 times, two of which went away, and six his team recovered because he could not hold the ball, and they were literally going after the ball because he has a broken hand. So he probably should not have been playing. I mean, it was one of the most pathetic quarterback performances on both sides of the ball I think I've seen in a long time. And these, worries that everybody's had about the Eagles' offense, they're 100% true. They were completely ineffective.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on this one? You have 9 total turnovers between these two teams. It was pitiful.
Well, yeah, the Eagles offense is failing. Um, Partly because I think Hertz is not that great. I think he's overrated and overpaid. Um, I know they just won the Super Bowl, but I think they got a little bit lucky with the timing um, of the contract work.
So, I mean, what do you
And
think of his stat line, Robbie? 21 for 40. First of all, Jalen
yeah,
Hurts, when they were
terrible.
winning, was passing like 22 times when they were winning.
Yeah, that
21
that
for
would be the
40,
winning formula, was only throwing somewhere between 20 and 25 times maximum.
and he had four
And they're throwing
interceptions.
40. Those are
Yeah.
those are times you should be running, not just Saquon Barkley, but you need another guy to take some of the load away.
And Barkley had
So
a pretty darn good game. I don't know why they just
yeah,
didn't keep giving it to him. You know, like in the second half, he only got 4 carries.
yeah,
What are you doing?
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. And AJ Brown had a couple really bad drops. One of them right into a defender's arms for a pick.
Yeah.
Another one on the sideline that was, he just, I guess he lost concentration. He just dropped it. So they're not really helping Hurts out at all. Um, I don't know. What are your thoughts about these two teams? The Eagles, they're likely going to make the playoffs because that's a really bad division, but maybe they're one and done this year. And then the Chargers, they've got this really bad problem where they cannot protect Herbert to save their lives. They have a lot of offensive linemen out right now.
Yeah, they're missing a lot of linemen, and but I think they should be excited to get Amari and Hampton back.
Yes, and he
So
played pretty well. I thought he played pretty well.
Vidal and
Mm-hmm.
Amari and Hampton, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch,
It is.
and that could really provide you with some play action um, to keep drives going and all that. I think their defense has been lacking at times this year, but they held in this one and they definitely made the turnovers. And they confused Hurts quite a bit.
And it's interesting. If you're the Chargers, if you're looking at it on the bright side, they're 9-4. I believe this was a coaching mismatch. You know that I don't think much of Sirianni, and Harbaugh definitely outcoached him in this game. There's no question.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and and you're winning. You're 9-4 with essentially no offensive line and an emerging running game and decent receivers, but not great, and a quarterback with a broken left hand. So not quite sure how they're doing it. They do have a pretty good defense. And in terms of the Eagles, I just think if they do make the playoffs, they're one and done this year. I think they got some real problems.
yeah. I think they need to retool a little bit. If you remember back, they actually um, were they won the Super Bowl and then they kind of took a step back and reloaded really quickly
Mm-hmm.
and then got back again within 2 years or whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot will be determined on how they deal with Hurts, how they teach him about turnovers and how we're going to avoid those,
Mm-hmm.
and just let your defense keep it close, pick your moments, and they have to patch up this thing with AJ Brown
Mm-hmm.
because they're having to concentrate on getting in the ball, which means they're not looking at it properly.
This is
They
what Colin Cowherd said today. He said, "Look, their number one problem is AJ Brown." And the other panelist was like, "What are you talking about? He's one of the best receivers." He said, "No, I'm serious. They're trying to run their whole offense through AJ Brown, and they should be
Yeah,
running through Saquon Barkley." And
yeah,
it just there's
but
such a focus on it, and all the defenders know that. They know they're trying to get to Brown,
yeah,
and so they're like double, triple teaming him, and they're getting a lot of these interceptions. So. Um, anyway, yes, they need to retool. It may benefit them in the offseason to just ship Brown out and draft a
yeah.
really
I think so.
stud receiver. Yeah,
Get him out of the locker room.
yeah,
Get something for him.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I
That's what I would
think
do.
you have to.
Fantasy football wrap up. Josh Allen comes in at 41 points. I was really happy about that. Gave me the
Mm-hmm.
victory this week. Shador Sanders comes in second.
Thong, the thong, thong, thong.
I was like, whoa, with his
Sure.
thong, according to Robbie. Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow with his nice comeback effort, Sam Darnold, Tyler Shook, J.J. McCarthy's in there, Lamar Jackson, and Aaron Rodgers. So any surprises here? For me, it was Shador Sanders. I mean, I never
I'd
thought he'd
say
have a
Shuck. I think Shuck on that
mm-hmm.
Saints team against the
Mm-hmm.
Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's surprising. That
Yeah.
he's ahead of schedule if he's doing that.
I didn't see a 40-point game from Shedeur Sanders, so I'm going to say him. But my second would be Tyler Shuck. Yeah, I agree.
I'll tell you what, man. Cleveland's got some weapons.
They do. They do. They have a pretty good team. They just can't
Yeah.
win right now.
Well, it's so confusing at quarterback. They just need to keep it steady.
I was listening to a sports psychologist today. You know what he said? He said winning is a skill. It's
Yeah.
actually a skill you have to learn how to do. And he said that teams that are new or just forming, a lot of times they don't know how to win. It doesn't mean they don't have a lot of good players. They
Yeah.
don't know how to close games out. So it's a skill.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So running backs, Mahomes alone had Jahmyr Gibbs, lucky him. Tony Pollard on Connor's team. Man, what a game he had. Blake
Yeah.
Corum, RJ Harvey, our UVA boy. Saquon Barkley, his best week in about 6 weeks. Travis Etienne, Gainwell again is bringing a nice element to Pittsburgh. Jalen Wright with Miami, and then Chase Brown. You know, that's the third week in a row, Robbie, that Brown has been in the mix, and he's
Yeah.
pretty good back for the Bengals. I
Yeah.
never heard of him
Yeah, he
before.
is.
Yeah, he's
I
productive.
mean, I've heard of him. I don't think they use him very well. So,
Mm-hmm.
but he's showing promise. So we'll see.
And Ashton's been starting him every week, and he's been enjoying it. So
Hmm.
defenses, Seattle, number one for Connor. You had your Minnesota team go off.
Hmm.
Miami, it's the first time I've seen them up there in a long time. Houston, Philly, Denver, Chargers, and Jacksonville. So a lot of those are really the better defenses in the league. But
Yeah.
Minnesota, Miami were kind of surprises this week.
No, Minnesota should be doing that every week. I'm not sure when they
But they
drop the
haven't been.
ball.
Yeah.
They haven't been. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but their offense has been playing so poorly, it's put them in bad positions.
Yeah. That might be it. It's
Complementary
something.
football means you're
Yeah.
not going to hang your defense out to dry very often.
Right.
And if you do, you're probably going to get punished. And Minnesota's been getting punished.
Because we know they have a great defensive coordinator. That's not the problem.
Hmm.
So, and they have good players.
And
So,
great players.
yeah.
But there's only so much you can do to bail out an offense that's sputtering and pitiful.
So here's your playoff picture after week 14. In the AFC, Denver would be the number one seed. New England would be the number 2 seed. Then Jacksonville would be 3. That's incredible to me. Pittsburgh would be 4 if they win the division. Chargers 5, Buffalo 6, and Houston a very strong 7. So if it finished today, what's your take on this list of AFC contenders?
I think that a couple of these teams are hanging in there and maybe even improving a little. Definitely Houston is improving. New England's improving. Jacksonville's improving. And
If you had to walk up to the window right now and put $100 down on who you think is going to make it to the Super Bowl out of these 7, who do you think's got the best shot? It's tough, right? I mean, the AFC is really wide open. I could
really
see like
tough. Yeah.
almost all these teams could make it.
There's no dominant team.
Yeah.
Um,
Would
probably
it be totally shocking to you if Houston goes on a run and they go to the Super Bowl? I mean, you know what I mean?
no,
It's
it
just so
wouldn't.
wide open. Yeah.
Let's say
I
New
mean,
England
New
or
England. Okay.
Denver.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's probably right. I'm going to say Buffalo. I still think, they've got the best quarterback in my opinion. I know you don't agree, but
No,
I think that Buffalo's got a shot this year with this wide open situation with no
for
Kansas
me,
City.
he's a top 5 quarterback who plays really, really well, but he's not the best player on his offense.
The only team that stops Buffalo every year is Kansas City Chiefs, and they're not going to be in it. So I'm going to say them, but I would be totally not shocked if any of these teams make it. Denver, New England, Houston, Chargers, all
Houston's
very
D is
possible.
incredible.
Yeah. If you look on the NFC side, the Rams are number 1, Green Bay 2, Philadelphia 3 for winning the East, Tampa 4 for winning the South, Seattle, a really dangerous 5. I wouldn't want to play them right now. 49ers 6, and then Chicago would come in at 7. And what's crazy is those 2 through 7 records there are all within one game. So when we look at this in 4 weeks, this may be completely scrambled. Literally, Chicago just rattles off a couple in a row. They're going to be the number 2 seed. So what's your take on the
Yeah,
NFC?
it's a tight field. I don't know. It's weird because looking at this, it feels like the AFC is getting stronger, but all year I felt like the NFC was better.
I still think the NFC is better. This is a
I
much
don't
tougher
believe
one.
in Chicago in terms of
Mhm.
they're not ready.
Mhm.
Tampa's faltering a little bit. Seattle's coming
Mhm.
up. And the Rams look amazing. Like if it was Rams Denver right now, I think the Rams would win pretty dramatically.
I think right now for me, if I'm sauntering up to the window in Vegas with my $100, I'm putting it on the Rams. I do think they're the best team in football.
Yeah,
But if I had a second and third, my second would be Green Bay. I think they're very good, but I think my third would be Seattle. I think Seattle is
Seattle, yeah.
they're a contender, and I would not be shocked if
I
they go
think
all the way.
Seattle at 5 could beat Denver at 1.
Me too. And I think Seattle is the kind of team that if they get hot, they're so good on both sides of the ball, they could go to the Super
Yeah,
Bowl. There's no doubt in my
that's
mind.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So looking at the MLS final, Inter Miami gets a 3-1 win. Lionel Messi holds the cup up. This was one of the trophies he really wanted. He didn't get it last year. And they beat Thomas Muller and Vancouver Whitecaps in this game. Really good, solid game. He had an assist. And then when you look at the final numbers from the season, he's by far the goals leader with 35 total for the year. And he got the golden boot. And then he also, this is crazy, Robbie, he was also the assist leader in the MLS with
I believe
24.
it.
Is that
He
crazy?
had such a gorgeous assist.
So he had literally he wins both categories and then holds the cup up at the end of the year. That's crazy.
Yes.
37 years old.
He's gonna be okay in this sport, man.
What's your take with him finally getting it done in the MLS? And of course he's won the World Cup and he's won
I mean,
the
I'm happy
European
for him. He
Championship.
seems like a good dude.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's. You think he's the greatest ever? And can we start talking about that now?
I think him and Pele are the greatest I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's. I don't know. I think he might be the greatest ever.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say that over Pele. I've always been a huge Pele fan, but man, you start looking at his accomplishments now: European championships and 5 La Liga titles. And
Yeah.
pretty impressive. Looking at the World Cup final draw, Robbie, you and I talked about this last week, what the draw was going to look like, and I think whether it was random or not, there's some suspicion that it wasn't totally random. They acted like it was random when they pulled them out of the cup, but what you see here is every single group is very balanced. You'll have like one power team, one good team, and then 2 trash teams. There's no there's no group of death this year.
Yeah, but that's how they had it. They had buckets or whatever, and all the good teams were in bucket one, and you could only take
Right,
one team from bucket one. This
right.
this isn't an accident that
I
it
know,
came
but
out
they
staggered
acted
like
like
that.
it was random. They acted like it was random, but then you end up with these groups that go all the way from Group A to Group L that are really balanced. I mean, it's actually pretty
Yeah.
good.
Well, but that's because every team had to have one from Group A, bucket A, and all the best teams were in bucket A. And so you could only end up with one great team in each
Mhm.
bucket. And then you had two from B or something like, or
Mhm.
no,
Yeah, that's
whatever.
right.
It worked out to being very balanced because of the
Right.
way they did the draw. I like how they did it this time.
And you're going to have 2 teams out of every group advance. So it gives the
Yeah,
U.S. a really good shot out of Group D. Alexi Lawless said that they could not have hoped for a better draw than Group D. I
I
mean, you have
agree.
Paraguay, they've beaten twice this year already. And Australia, they beat in a friendly in May, 3-1.
Hmm.
We don't know who the playoff out of Europe is going to be for the 4th team, but um, really, really good draw for the USA to be advancing to the second round. We'll see.
Yeah.
They got
Hmm.
to they got to earn it on the field, but How excited are you about this World Cup, man? I think it's gonna be pretty cool.
I'm excited. I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
cool. It's gonna be USA fans and we're mixed with people from all over the world. It's gonna be a lot of Hollywood drama put in there, a lot of Americanized stuff. It's gonna be kind of cool.
One cool thing they've done to do, they're spread across three countries. So you're going to have Mexico being able to play at home. You're going to
Yep.
have Canada. Canada's going to be playing at home in Group B, and then U.S. can be playing at home in Group D.
Yeah.
And then
So all three countries are playing at home.
everybody else is spread around. You're going to have all the South American teams playing essentially mostly in Mexico. You're going to have a lot of the European teams playing in Canada, like France.
Yeah.
So I like how they've done it. You're going to have
Hmm.
the three host countries essentially have home games. So
Yeah. Hmm.
we'll see what happens. Here's your memes of the week, Robbie. Waiting patiently for tomorrow's Joe Flacco and the Bengals have mutually agreed to part ways and then intends to sign with the Colts on Tuesday. With their quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Isn't it true, though? It just feels like that's going to happen.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
real.
So this next one, Bryce Young by season. Robbie, you've been talking about don't give up on him, don't give up on him. Well, look at this
Hmm.
progression. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yep.
Passer rating, completion percentage, touchdowns, etc.
There's
So
too much firing of coaches and too much giving up on young quarterbacks.
and his winning percentage going up, up, up. So yeah, you're right. You're right. You nailed it. So Rivers is a grandfather. Colts are bringing him in for a tryout. Do you think this is just a joke thing, or do you think he really might play this year?
I think being at home with 9 kids is tough.
That's right. And a grandkid now, a grandson.
Makes you want to go to work.
You know what? I
No,
love
I
Phil
just I mean,
Rivers, so I'm
I
kind of
think
hoping he does it.
he's a competitive guy. Like
He
this
is.
is it's probably killing him.
He loves football
Um,
too.
yeah.
Loves it. So I kind of hope he gets it. We'll see.
Mhm.
This is interesting, Robbie. Receiving yards, Smith and Jigba, that he's this far ahead of Puka Nakua, Pickens, Chase, and St. Brown.
Yeah.
You feel like that's your top five receivers right now?
Puka's been battling some injuries. When he's
Yeah.
healthy,
Yeah.
he is. I think the
So,
top two are dramatically better than the rest. But Pickens has had a nice year. He had a terrible last week.
mhm. Yeah, he did. But he's had
And
a good year.
Chase has been, so good for any other receiver, but not
Hasn't had
great
his
for him.
quarterbacks, you know. You give him Joe Burrow
Yeah,
all year, he'd be at 1,500
that's
yards.
right. Yeah.
You don't have
And
CeeDee
St.
Lamb
Brown's been
here.
battling some injuries, so
That's true. You don't see
that's been impacting.
CeeDee Lamb or Jefferson are not here, but they would be if they had
Yeah.
better quarterback situations. Travis Kelsey really thought he was going to walk out of the league with another ring and marry Taylor Swift like it was a Disney movie. It's kind of funny. Thanksgiving, Robbie, this was amazing. The highest ratings ever. The first game was 47.7 million. The second game, Kansas City, Dallas, 57 million in
That's
that four
amazing.
o'clock slot. And that's, by the way, that's more than half the Super Bowl. And then the night game was 28.4. So um, let's just say the NFL product is very popular right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this
And
one,
and it's a captive audience to play on Thanksgiving.
yeah, I mean, it's
Hmm.
so smart of the league. Yeah. This is funny, Robbie. Baltimore and Kansas City are very sad at 6-7. The Dolphins are ecstatic.
Hmm.
It's all perspective. So,
Well, it's all your trajectory.
yeah, that's
Kansas
right.
City and Ravens are going downward.
All right. So, here's your question of the week, guys. Drop us a comment. Who do you think is the best quarterback in football? So, Robbie, what do you think, man?
Matthew Stafford.
Who's your number two?
Um, at this moment or
This
in
year.
general?
This year. Yeah. I've got Matthew Stafford. Then I've got Josh Allen, number two.
Probably Josh Allen.
And then my number three is Drake May. I think Drake May has slid into that number three spot now.
Yeah,
Yeah. I got him three. I
he,
got Sam
he doesn't
Darnold
have to
four.
do as much,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I might put Baker in there. He had a bad week this last week,
Baker.
but
Yeah.
he's had a great season.
And Mahomes, I don't even have in the top five right now. Guys, drop us a comment. Who's the best quarterback in the NFL? Let us know. All right, Robbie, heading on. 4 weeks left in the NFL, man. What are you looking for?
Tell you what, we're in kind of the final stretch here. A lot of teams are teetering on making a big move up or down and determining their future this year, the playoff time. It's an exciting time in fantasy football. A lot of teams are screaming towards hitting the playoffs because you hit it earlier than the NFL does. And it's a couple nasty injuries this week, but for the most part, it hasn't been too bad. I think a lot of more players are coming back now than getting hurt,
Yeah.
which is nice. Marion Hampton, guys like that.
Do you
Uh,
feel like there's no great team this year? That's what I feel like. I feel like they want parity. They want everyone to be 7-10 to 10-7 in that range, and then maybe a
you
couple
know,
teams that are
you know what
good.
I feel like? I feel like we're staring at a team that's going to go on a run, and we're going to act like we knew it was going to happen, but we don't because right now we can honestly say we don't know who's going to be the one that gets hot. It reminds me of the Giants that year that they beat the Patriots when they were, what were they, 6-6 or
Hmm.
something? And they became this wild card team that kind of
Patriots are
went
17-0 that year.
crazy. Yeah,
Hmm.
the Giants went a
Hmm.
little crazy going into playoffs and got hot and then went smoking hot and just went off. Nobody
Hmm.
saw that coming. And I think we're staring at a team that's, you know, maybe one of the two teams is going to get a
Hmm.
little bit hot and go crazy. I don't know if it's the Bucks. I don't know if it's, you know, I don't know who's teetering on the playoffs, but
Hmm.
Bills, starting to play better. I don't know. Not really sure, but somebody's going to go on a run, and I think there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the league right now. I think it's
Hmm.
interesting that the best quarterbacks traditionally have been thought of as a bunch of players that are probably not going to be in the playoffs. So it's going to be run the ball and defense time, you know?
Hmm. That's right. I look at it's Rams, Seahawks, and Green Bay on the NFC side. I think one of those three teams will go to the Super Bowl. And on the
Yeah.
AFC side, I like Denver. I like the Patriots, and I like the Bills. To me, it's those three teams are going to go. One of those three teams will go from the AFC. And
Mm-hmm.
so, what's going to be cool about that is I don't think you're going to have the Eagles. I don't think you're going to have the Chiefs. You're not going to have the Ravens, and you're going to have essentially some new blood in there, some new teams in
Yeah,
there. Be
which is
kind of
nice. And it speaks to the parity that I've been talking about all year.
hmm.
And I'm really glad that it makes it awesome. The NFL is awesome because of the parity, I think.
And what's cool is those six teams we talked about are the teams that have a really good offense and a really good defense. So,
Yeah, yeah. And what I'm talking about with the team that's going to get hot might be the team that you think of has really good defense, but the offense hasn't been great, like maybe
hmm.
Denver.
Hmm.
Defense has been great, offense has been weak at times, even a liability. Maybe they get hot and then they become this juggernaut. Who knows?
If Denver found a way to turn up their offense, they'd be almost unstoppable. I mean,
Look at
because
the
they'd be,
Eagles. Everyone's
mhm,
writing the Eagles off. They've still got a lot of talented players.
they do.
They can run
Mhm.
Saquon down your throat. They've got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. I'm not a huge Hurts fan, but he can deliver the ball.
They
They
got
got
Dallas
Goddard
Goddard.
is
Hmm.
healthy, and they have probably the best defensive line in football,
Hmm.
and they have good defensive pieces. It's Cooper DeJean looked so good the other day, knocking
Man, he was
down
good.
balls, and
He kept them in the
I don't
game,
know.
really. He kept them in
I
the game.
mean, they lost to the Chargers in overtime, so
Hmm.
everyone's writing them off as told you they weren't good, all this stuff. I don't know. They're 8-5. They could win a couple more games, get in there and and put a hurt on a few teams. They have the experience.
Although,
They're not going to panic.
although it's not like it's 4 games. You're talking 13 games. Our offense has been broken. So,
No, I know. I
Yeah,
know.
it's not like
I'm
a
not a big
small team.
Sirianni fan, but I'm
Mhm.
just saying I wouldn't be surprised if one of these teams we're talking about goes a little bit up the ladder and kind of starts to look like
Yeah.
unbeatable.
Well, guys, make sure you drop us a comment because we want to hear from you guys who you think are the best teams in football, the best quarterbacks in football, and have a great NFL week. A lot of great games coming up, and like and subscribe.
Thanks for joining us. We had a great time. We're enjoying these games. Love talking to you all out there. And as always, it's like Tom and I are driving in our car on the way to work every morning. That's what we
That's
do.
right. That's
We
right.
chat. We enjoy the banter and the ideas that we flow back and forth from what we've seen. And we share news and all that stuff. So thanks for sharing that with us too. Like and subscribe, of course. That helps us and it helps us stay connected with you out there. And we're having a great time. So thanks for coming on the journey with us.
Guys, we'll see you guys next time on the Sports Guys. Have a great one. We'll see you.
See you.